The office party was already loud when I arrived, but the moment I stepped inside, it felt as if the noise dipped, like the room sensed something I hadn't caught up to yet. The atmosphere felt heavy, charged with an uneasiness I couldn't name. My wife had been strangely withdrawn all day, answering messages with brief responses, dodging my calls. I assumed work had worn her out, but the instant I spotted her across the room, something in me tightened. She wasn't her usual lively self. Her smile looked strained, her posture stiff, and her eyes kept flicking around like she was bracing for something. I started moving toward her, weaving through clusters of co-workers laughing with their drinks in hand, and with every step, the picture sharpened. She was standing by the bar, trying and failing to look relaxed, while her boss hovered much too close beside her, close enough that he didn't need to bend down to murmur something near her ear, close enough that anyone watching might mistake them for a couple. His stance wasn't casual or friendly. It was possessive, intentional, practiced. Then I saw it. She jolted when he touched her arm. A tiny flinch most people would overlook. But I saw the shallow breath she drew in, the forced smile she put on as if trying to avoid drawing attention. Before I could reach them, he slid his hand to the small of her back. No hesitation. No attempt to pretend it was harmless. His fingers crept down slowly, almost testing how far he could push things without anyone stopping him. She went rigid. Her smile dropped completely. A few people noticed and quickly looked away. Others whispered uncomfortably, but did nothing. And in that moment, I understood something painful. This wasn't the first time he'd crossed a line. She had been dealing with this alone for far too long. Something inside me clicked into place. Not anger, not panic, but a cold, steady resolve. I approached slowly, making sure he saw me coming. When my wife's eyes met mine, relief washed over her so intensely it hurt to see. Her boss finally turned, but instead of stepping back, he smirked and left his hand exactly where it was, like he was daring me to react. "So, you're the husband?" he said loudly, as if trying to show off with a nearby crowd. My wife whispered, "Please, let's just leave," her voice trembling with a mix of fear and exhaustion. An exhaustion built over weeks, maybe months. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't even let my expression change. I simply looked at him and said, evenly, "Take your hand off my wife." The room seemed to tighten around us. People stopped mid-conversation, half lifting their drinks, waiting. He chuckled dismissively. "Relax. It's just being friendly. No need to get insecure." My wife stepped away, finally breaking from his grasp, but he immediately tried to close the space again, like he couldn't stand the idea of losing control in front of an audience. I moved closer, just enough that only he could clearly hear me, even though many were straining to listen. "Touch her again," I murmured, "and this will be your last company event as an employee." For the first time, his confidence faltered, just a flicker. But arrogance dies hard. He scoffed and tried to brush it off, until a timid voice behind him broke the moment. A young employee, barely out of college, spoke up, her hands shaking. Then another joined in, and another. Within moments, a wave of voices rose. Stories as wandering hands, inappropriate comments, late-night messages, threats, retaliation. Years of silent suffering spilled out into the open. The room didn't just quiet. It froze. HR, who had been standing nearby, intervened immediately. He argued, panicked, tried to defend himself, but it didn't matter. His own staff had finally found the courage to speak. Security arrived soon after, and the man who strutted around like he owned the place suddenly looked small as he was escorted out of the building he once dominated. My wife clung to my arm as we walked out. Her shoulders shook with relief. For a long time, she didn't speak. Then I heard her whisper, "I didn't know how to stop him." I looked at her and realized how long she had been carrying that fear, that pressure, that silence forced onto her by someone who abused his position. Tonight wasn't about ego or pride. It was about finally putting an end to something she shouldn't have had to endure. He didn't fall because of anything I did. He fell because of the choices he made, the boundaries he ignored, the people he believed would stay silent forever. By morning, the company announced his suspension. By the afternoon, his dismissal. By nightfall, the truth had spread through every corner of the workplace. His downfall wasn't caused by one moment. It was caused by every moment he thought he could get away with.